Today's notes are on the properties of rational exponents. We have already talked about the properties of exponents prior to this. You're using the same 7 properties, only this time, instead of having whole numbers as your exponents, we're including rational numbers, which means that it's possible that you have fractions. So the properties are the same, and I've included some examples for you to look over and copy down on your notes. They work exactly the same, only now we have fractions. So the product of a power property says when we have the same base being multiplied together that we add the exponents. That's still true here. 1/2 plus 3 over 2 gives us 4 over 2, which simplifies to 2. When we have a base raised to a power raised to another power, that means we were multiplying the exponents. So 3 over 2 times 2 gives us 4 to the third power, which is equal to 64. And if we continue down, we'll notice that the same thing holds true for the rest of the properties. They're the same as our properties of our exponents, only now we're including fractions. So go ahead and pause the video. That way you can copy down the rest of the examples, and then we'll look at example 1 below. Alright, for example 1, we're going to use the properties to simplify the expressions. So 1a is the product of powers property. I have the same base, so I'm going to keep the base of 5, and we're going to add the exponents. So 1/2 plus 1/4. And while you should not just type the whole expression in your calculator, if you need the calculator to help you simplify the fractions, you can. This 1/2 plus 1/4 is equal to 3 over 4. So this is 5 to the power of 3 over 4. And it doesn't simplify nicely, so we're going to leave it just like that. For example B, notice you have different bases inside the parentheses. One is an 8, the other is an x. So we're going to start by taking the 2 and making sure that it gets distributed to both terms by multiplying. So 1/2 times 2 is just 1, so this is 8 to the power of 1. And then 1/3 times 2 is 2/3, so x to a power of 2/3. Example 3, we have the same base in the numerator and the denominator, which means we are using the quotient of a powers property. So I'm going to keep the base, and I'm going to take the exponent in the numerator and subtract it by the exponent in the denominator. Again, don't just plug the whole thing into your calculator, but if you need your calculator to help you with the fraction, 1 minus 1/3 is 2/3, so this is 7 to a power of 2/3. And the last one that we're going to look at together, example D, we're going to start by distributing that 2 to both parts using the power of a quotient property. So I get 12 to the power of 2 over 3 over 4 to a power of 2 over 3. And this is where this one could take 2 different approaches for you. Noticing that they both are raised to a power of 2 over 3, you can simplify the base. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So it leaves you with 3 to a power of 2/3. Or we could have thought about this first as simplifying to 12 over 4 raised to a power of 1/3, and then that whole thing being raised to a power of 2, because then 12 over 4 would simplify to 3 to the 1/3 raised to the power of 2, which we could then distribute in, giving us our 3 to the power of 2/3. Either way would have worked. Try example E and F on your own. We're going to talk about them in class.